Morning, everyone. Today I'm going to talk about keeping going and how you can take yourself to the next level when running. So this is a question from Steve Ridson in the Facebook group, Runpreneur Facebook group. And as always on a Tuesday morning, I cover all things running. And sorry, I'm slipping all over the place. It's been really wet overnight. And one thing barefoot running shoes are not great for is grip on a slippy road surface. But anyway, I digress. So the all things running today, it's actually quite a mild morning this morning. It's about 13 degrees, which is lovely. It's a change from the kind of winter running weather we've been having. But yeah, this is a big one. And I think people need to understand this better because running's hard. It's exercise. Inevitably, with any form of exercise, you are going to run out of energy or stamina at some point, and it's going to get harder the longer you do it for. That's normal, and it's so easy just for people to go, "I know what, I've done enough today. Now that's enough," and that's fine depending on your objectives. But Steve has asked a question about how to keep going. But there's a few techniques you can do to kind of help you in this, and hopefully I can speak from pretty good experience. I've hit the wall on the hottest London Marathon on record pretty early on. I think I was feeling it horrendously at about 17, 18 miles, and even though I'd hit the wall, I managed to basically keep a running motion about walking pace. It's probably the only way to describe it. To get to the finish line, and I collapsed on the finish line. That's how far I pushed myself. That's nothing to be proud of, because if you push yourself too hard, it can actually be dangerous. That's why it's really important you understand the science behind it as well, and how to fuel yourself effectively. But that's a separate episode altogether. But the first thing to understand with running in particular, and pushing yourself to keep going, is this is the priority order of how important parts of your anatomy are for running. Now, you'd think, oh, number one, legs are clearly going to be the most important. Absolutely not. The most important thing in running is your mind, your brain. Okay? You have to keep that positive, you have to keep that focus, you have to keep it accountable, because ultimately, what your mind or your brain tells your body to do, your body will do it. And you'll be amazed how much more you've got in the tank. The analogy I can use here is, you look at a car, it's looking at the empty sign comes on with petrol or diesel, whatever. And you think, oh no, I've got to get to the petrol tank. Well, actual fact, on most cases, you've got about 60 miles worth of fuel still left when that light comes on. So you're getting an alert saying, oh, we need to get petrol. But in actual fact, you can push it and push it and push it. And if you're clever, you can probably get more than 60 miles out of the car. Now, I wouldn't suggest you do that because it can catch you out, but it's just proving the point that there's more left than you think. So your mind is number one. Number two is your cardiovascular system in here. If you fueled it correctly, you'll still be breathing, you'll still be able to keep going, keep your heart rate lower. That's the kind of efficiency of how quickly you burn that fuel. And your mind can tell you what to do. But ultimately, this is the engine, the cardiovascular system, which is burning energy. And your heart rate's going up and up and up the harder you're working. So you need to kind of monitor that and track that. And third are your legs. Your legs, even when you think, oh, they've got nothing left, they've just surprisingly got so much left. Because your mind will tell them to keep going, keep pushing through. And when you understand that, you understand then that running is so much mental. And this is why it links so nicely with my vlog, Runpreneur, because the vlog is always about helping entrepreneurs overcome stress, anxiety, overwhelm, using exercise as a mechanism to manage and control it. And in my case, running is so mental. It hardens you up. If you read a book called You Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins, amazing book. And he talks about a phrase in that called a calloused mind. And this is an analogy for mental resilience ultimately. If you've been to dark places before and you've been hurt and you've mentally been broken, go back to those times and use those as like a callus on your hand. You know, when you're gripping something, you build up a hardened skin if you've gripped on it so many times. If you do loads of dumbbell curls, over the course of time, you'll get these calluses on your hands where you've been holding and gripping so tight. They're calluses, and the idea is callus your mind for these experiences to give you strength when times are tough. So that's a really, really good analogy. But yeah, so ultimately, what I'm trying to say is the mind is so powerful when it comes to keeping going. And just thinking, one of the things to then do when you're doing this is store in your memory bank the times where things have been really, really tough for you, mentally, okay, and physically, and store those memories. They are like badges of honour. You might not think of it at the time, but that's what makes you more and more mentally resilient. That's how you improve your mental resilience. And you know, I go back to that marathon attempt because I challenge anyone to find a place that says that there are several places, of course, but for me anyway, in my life, there's very few places that I've been, you know, consciously or subconsciously, whereby I was as low and as defeated and depleted, as broken as I was on that first ever London Marathon, the hottest marathon record, when I collapsed at the finish line. You know, I was coming down the embankment, there was 20 or 30 deep crowd either side, cheering you. They could see I was broken. I was getting extra support. I could just about hear them, but it felt like I was in a tunnel. It was all distorted because I was delirious. I couldn't see them. My eyes were tunnel visioned, and my eyes were bloodshot. I could see the bloodshot in my eyes. And I could not, I was so weak and frail. If someone would have just brushed me, I would have fallen over and I'd probably passed out instantly, no matter how uncomfortable the road would have been. That's how depleted I was. Yet I still managed to find it in myself to get to the end. Now I use that because I've never been anywhere as brutal as that, personally. Like, other people have got different experiences they can draw on. But personally, that was just the ultimate for me. And when I'm struggling in a race, I tell myself, I'm not struggling. You know, London Marathon, hottest London Marathon record, collapsing on the finish line, you know, that level of deliriousness, that was struggling. And you use that then to reinforce that, actually, I'm okay, I can keep going here, I've got the confidence to do this, and you can give yourself that positive mindset. So that comes on to point number 2. So point number 1 is use your memory banks of hardship in the past. I need to turn around. Number 2 is to find something to hold you accountable. Okay, so what I mean by this is I'm running at the moment on this running challenge, run every day for a year, 5k every day at least, and normally kind of 10k to half marathon at weekends is generally what I'm running at the moment. And you know, I've had to do it straight after a marathon, I've had to do it in the build up to a marathon, I've had to do 15 milers and then straight after it. Normally you'd give your legs time to kind of overcome this, and it's really hard at times, but the accountability I've given myself is not only doing the challenge and seeing the streak that enables me to be motivated to continue, but I've also committed to doing this content creation challenge, of doing this vlog every day for a year as well, to see what kind of comes of it. And that way, yeah, there might be one person out there that watches this vlog. If one person watches it and gets something from it, you know what, fair play, that's good enough for me. But that one person is subconsciously holding me accountable for doing this every day. There's been so many days I've woke up and thought, nah, I don't feel like this today. But I've forced myself to do it. For fear of letting whoever that one loyal watcher is down. And the fact that I'm on a streak of 160 something runs in a row. That the fear of breaking that as well holds you accountable. So something to hold you accountable. Maybe it's a running partner. Maybe it's being part of a club. Maybe it's an upcoming race. Whatever it is, it's that goal or milestone. I don't like using goals, I use milestones because I'm always looking at the next one after I've achieved that milestone. And otherwise you hit that goal and then you get that kind of depression. Once you've achieved it, you've got nothing left to aim for. So treat goals as milestones, that's a little tip there. But accountability, so important. And then you feel like you're not letting down. Raise money for charity. You're raising money for charity, you're helping people. I raise lots of money for children's charities. I've set myself a target to raise 50,000 as the first milestone. about 26,000 in, something like that. And I like to think, you know what, there has been a child out there. 26 grand must have helped a child somewhere. And you don't get the exact evidence of where that money's gone. But these are professional charities, and surely that money's got to help someone, and that's motivating, and that inspires me to keep going. The more money I raise, the more children I help. Again, if I'm hurting or struggling, think of the children you're helping. Think of the hurt that they're going through, or the disadvantage that they have, the vulnerability they have, and that what you're doing is making a real difference to those. Hugely inspiring, hugely motivating, and it will push you to the next level. So there's just a few tips there. I'm trying to think of others on the cuff, but I'll summarise so far. So firstly, understand that your legs may be tired, but they'll keep going as long as your mind tells them. So the mind, number one, the mind is so important. You have to keep that mind in a positive mindset. As soon as your mind says, I want to quit, you let it say that, you will quit. Because it's very, very difficult when you get that negative thought process in your mind to switch it to a positive. Although it's very, very easy to keep a more positive mindset and maintain it. Okay, not letting yourself drift into negativity. So number one, the mind is the most important thing for keeping going. Understand how your legs are the least important, because they will keep going as long as your mind tells them to, and as long as your cardiovascular system can continue working. So number two, don't underestimate the importance of your cardiovascular system. That is the engine. The mind is the driver. That's the engine. Your legs are the wheels. Tires will keep going as long as someone's pushing them. Cardiovascular system, and your mind is instructing your cardiovascular system to push those wheels to keep going. So understand that analogy. If the engine runs out of fuel, then you've got a problem. So you've obviously got to be mindful of the energy levels that your cardiovascular system has, and there's ways and means you can monitor that. I use heart rate as my primary way of monitoring that. Some people use pace, some people use power. Lots of different metrics you can use. Distance, some people use. So they've all got their own ways and means of being able to monitor that. I'll talk about the different types in separate episodes. So really important. Number two, okay, understand your memory bank and the importance of pulling out those dark times where you were broken physically, mentally. Use those as a catalyst to tell yourself, you know what, I'm hurting here, but it's nowhere near as bad as then. And that gives you the strength to push on. We call it a callous mind. It's experiencing those difficult times has increased your mental resilience capability. So really, really important. So dive deep into those negative parts of your history where you can use them as a catalyst to give you strength. Number three, a positive mental attitude. Very, very easy to maintain a positive mental attitude. As soon as you let it slip into negativity, you're gone. You'll quit. As soon as you say I'm quitting, you're gone. It's too late. You've got to keep yourself focused, mentally positive to enable you to keep going. Really, really important. Number four, accountability. Whether it's running for a charity, running for a challenge, running with people, running for a running club, build up to a race. Think about how you can keep yourself accountable for doing this. That will hold you accountable for doing it, and it will keep you going. So, so important. So remember that. And five, have running milestones, not goals. Really, really important here. If you have a goal and you achieve it, it's like, yes, I've achieved it. And then, very, very quickly, it's like, oh, what next? And then you probably stop running. Milestone. And then have the next milestone planned when you achieve that first milestone. And onwards, and onwards, and onwards. Will keep you motivated, keep you progressing. Remember the regression process. You're never standing still. You're either regressing or you are progressing. So make sure you're the latter, always pushing yourself forward. So when you're standing still, you're regressing. So remember that. So quite a lot of content today. Hopefully it's been useful. I'm super passionate about this. There's loads of little gems that have come out of this one that I'll do separate episodes on in the future. But you'll be amazed how strong the mind is and how far it can push you. I think David Goggins says, I can't remember, but he has a formula for, look him up basically. He says that a huge proportion of the population is using a teeny tiny percentage of their brain's capability. And what he's referring to there predominantly is mental resilience. And you'd be amazed what extraordinary things you can achieve when you understand that. So I'll leave it there. I hope you found this useful. As always, any questions, drop me a comment. I'll respond to everyone. If it's a bigger topic, I'll do a separate vlog episode, tag you in. If it's not for you, no drama. Unfriend, unfollow me. It'll stop cluttering up your personal feeds. Before you do so, do check out my Runpreneur Facebook group and my YouTube channel, Kevin Britton Runpreneur, whereby my 140 or so episodes now are catalogued nice and neatly by topic, completely free ad hoc resource, and hopefully it'll be something that will help you at some point in the future on an ad hoc basis. So that's it from me today. As always, the Runpreneur vlog was created to help entrepreneurs overcome stress, anxiety, overwhelm, using exercise as a mechanism to control and manage that. If you don't, it will bottleneck, it will build, pressure will build up, something will give, and it's normally the entrepreneur, either personal health, mental health, or it can also be the business that can result in failure. Been there, done that, horrendous, and so many entrepreneurs are too proud to talk about this stuff. So my pledge to you guys, just drop me a direct message if you want to talk to someone about this stuff, and I'm all ears. I'll help you wherever I can. Obviously, there is a time capacity issue from my side, but I will always try and squeeze people in, because if this vlog helps one entrepreneur be successful or continue in their business, but otherwise they may have failed, again, it's absolutely worthwhile. So that's it for me today. As always, stay positive, stay happy, and I will speak to you tomorrow. Bye.